Help! I have to learn about variables in computer coding. What is a variable? Meet Brian. Brian is going to help us learn about variables. Brian has many friends, so he needs to remember lots of names. He also likes different types of food, so he needs to remember this. Also different sports. But Brian is not very organized, and his brain is not so big. So how does he remember all these things? To help with his memory, Brian uses special storage boxes inside his brain. He calls these boxes variables. Each box has a different name. For example, names, sports, food. And he puts in the boxes all the things he knows. For example, in the names box, he puts in all the names of his friends. The variable name never changes, so the box never changes. But what's inside these boxes does change. So Brian can store lots of information that changes inside these variables. So he remembers lots of names inside the variable called names. And he can open this box and retrieve information from inside it when he needs it. So he meets a friend, he wants to remember his name, looks inside the box. Hello, John. Let's look at different examples of variables that we use in computer coding. On the first image, what do you think the variable might be called? So the name of the variable stays the same, but the information inside it changes? You're right, we would call it score. What about the one on the right, the microwave? Well, different food takes different lengths of time to cook, so we might call the variable time, but the number of minutes changes. The one on the left here is probably called temperature, and every day is a different temperature. The one on the right, maybe it could be your bank balance. The bank balance name stays the same, but the number of dollars inside it probably changes. Let's look at variables in action. In this coding language called Python, I've made two variables with two different names. I've called one bank balance 1, and I've put the number 3 inside it, and called one bank balance 2, and put the number 4 inside it. Then I've asked the computer to print what is my bank balance, and add variable balance 1 to variable balance 2. Let's run it, and I see I get the number 7. So that's what we would think, 3 plus 4 is 7, but what happens if we keep the variable names, but change what's inside it? So let's call bank balance 1, let's put a 6 inside, and the second one, let's put a 10. What happens when we run it again, but keep the same variable names? We get 16. So you can see the variable name never changes, but what goes inside can change.